social impact reporting and how essential it was for enterprises to not only report on their financial performance, but also to measure their social impact. So many social enterprises in the UK measure their social impact, their environmental and the economic effect, as it demonstrates that they've achieved more than financial return and that they have had made a discernible difference to the social economy. So why measure? It does inform the development of the social enterprise, and it's the evidence, the social that has been achieved through your activities. It can look beyond the price of a contract to see the collective value that's been created for the community when a contract has been awarded. And it should, in theory, for commissioners wishing to procure products and services, offer them much more than the lower tender price. People often talk about best value, etc. And sometimes that is about the lowest price as opposed to the wider impact that that contract can give. We also presented to you yesterday the introduction of the Social Value Act in the UK. And those who commission, so for those of you who weren't here, what it does, the Social Value Act, it acts for commissioners that when they're commissioning goods and services with public finances, so with public government money, then they must access applications, not just against the price, but against the social and the environmental value. Other countries are putting their own version into place, of the Act in place, as they recognise that much more can be done with public funds within the communities. And why wouldn't you want to get more delivered for each pound or each dollar that you spend? So assessing social value enables businesses to, it builds social capital with clients, it builds reputation with investors, it attracts partners and investment, and it motivates your staff, your internal teams. So let me just give you a little example. My organisation, Blackburn House, we recently were given a contract from a housing association, social landlords in the UK. We have quite a number of them who provide housing, low-cost houses, affordable housing for people. And they wanted us to work with some vulnerable tenants, women who were suffering from mental health problems or had been abused by their partners. It's just a small pilot, this program, for them. They wanted just to see what they would gain from it. They awarded us, as I said, it was a small contract of £25,000 UK pounds, and they measured the return on their investment as being £905,000 based on successful outputs. This equates to every pound that they gave us, they got a return of £37. They're thrilled with this, as they want their tenants to be healthy, they want them to be able to access education, employment opportunities, and it helps with the sustainability of the tenants, as they don't want a lot of their tenants on welfare. They want them to be able to pay the rent themselves. There are many approaches to measuring social impact, and I know this morning Peter talked about social return on investment, and I know Dr. Knife yesterday talked about that also. But the various ones are social accounting and audit, social return on investment, local multiplier 3, or a combination of these, or the more creative techniques like a short film, or as Peter said this morning, telling a story, telling a compelling story, and you can do it in all different ways. But simply social impact reporting should be set out, the tangible and transparent aspirations and achievements of your organisation, or maybe a particular contract that you undertake like the one I just mentioned before. So organisations sometimes use a social accountant to verify their impact, just like a normal accountant, but they look at the social side of it, as they want to get more traction on these contracts, and they want to demonstrate to commissioners that this has been independently assessed. So, for example, and some clients want to engage their own client group in measuring those social outputs. So, for example, at Blackburn House, we do an annual survey with all our students. We do one with our staff also. And we can assess their experience on the courses. We measure from the starting position to the end position. We look at the age profile, their ethnicity, their postcodes to assess if we're accessing women from all over Liverpool and the city region. We look at the disability. We look if they have a learning difficulty. We look at the retention, the achievement, and of major importance, their final destination, because we don't want to train and educate women just to go around in a circle. We want them to get a job, a career. We produce a self-assessment report which is given to the National Department of Education, as they like to assess all colleges, as we are nationally, on our achievements, and then they can plan future investments, what's worked. This report also helps us in a number of ways. It helps us to plan our curriculum, what's worked for our student, what's not. We assess all our teaching staff, they're all graded, to tell us the level of the standard of their teaching. And it informs us whether we need to do more marketing to support women that are not accessing our services. There might be a particular group that are not coming through our doors. There might be certain postcodes where we've noticed no students are coming from. We'll put our marketing money there. But we are able to diagnose from our assessments what is needed for the organisation. We utilize this data when we go for contracts, as we also take the sound bites from our students. And as I said, we also make films because we want to demonstrate our social impact. The film that I showed you yesterday went to central government. That was a contract that we won from the Home Office in the UK. And they wanted to assess an assessment, and they just wanted a report. But the film that we sent was much more powerful than I could ever write in a report. We also have done films we run a lot of health and wellbeing programs for a range of commissioners, including the National Health Service in the UK. And there's nothing more powerful than a film to demonstrate the impact the program has had on the women when they start and when they finish. And unfortunately, I did want to show you one of those films today, but I couldn't download it from our website. So let's look at some other case studies of successful social enterprises who measure their impact and why. There's a fantastic group in Liverpool called the Furniture Resource Centre, and it is a leading social business in the UK. They're running a number of highly successful businesses that produce financial profits and create social dividend by giving people in poverty and unemployment the opportunity to change their lives. There are a group of businesses, and the main business, the FRC, which is the short anagram for them, they sell all the necessary, what they do is sell all the necessary items to make what they say, to make a house into a home. They have one-stop shops throughout the UK where customers, especially on low income, can buy packages of furniture for their properties. One of their subsidiary companies is called Bulky Bob's, and it's a waste management business running local authority contracts to collect, reuse, and recycle bulky waste, household waste, mostly furniture and appliances. The Bulky Bob model maximizes the volume of their items that are reused and recycled to prevent good quality items and useful materials going into landfill. They sell what they call as great quality pre-loved furniture and appliances. And for people in crisis, they give furniture free of charge. But what is the impact of FRC? The impact is created by the services their businesses deliver, getting great quality furniture to low-income households, and by creating training opportunities for the long-term unemployed to develop the skills, experience, and qualifications needed to gain employment. The FRC called their social impact report Proving It, and I would say to you, go on the website and have a look at and download one of their reports. They're absolutely excellent. The whole purpose of FRC is to make a difference to people's lives, to create a social impact. They have a strong commitment to their document Proving It. And this is how they give information to all the people that matter to and who matter to them. their customers, their partners, their staff, their trainees, work experience, volunteers and trustees, making sure that they know exactly where they are. But also their impact of the report is also of great interest to academics, politicians, civil servants and opinion makers. Proving it is about understanding the impact that they have made, measuring their impact, setting stretching targets for improvement and valuing what matters to the people who matter. And so the nuts and bolts of proving it is about collecting information from the activities, and they use it to tell a story, exactly what Peter was saying this morning. They use this information in two ways. One, it helps reward and motivate staff for their hard work and passion. It also acts as a lever when they're going for tenders to demonstrate to commissioners that they will gain extra value for every pound that is within that contract. And the crucial aim for them is that it's great for the planet by managing their business to reduce environmental harm. They have a conscious about their carbon footprint because they have these massive vans that go out and collect all this furniture. And so besides many other environmental measures, they've always measured their mileage and planted trees to compensate for this. The second one is a great place to work by listening to what their employees say about working for FRC Group and creating an environment in which people can develop their personal and professional skills. And the third one is great to do business with providing first-class service to all their customers, asking for feedback from suppliers and customers, and acting on what they tell them. They've been creating a social impact report since 1999, and they state that crucially the report is independently assured by a third party, so they get a verifier to verify all the information they put in their report. Their impact reports have been cited as an example of best practice, and they've won the ACC award for the best report in 2002 and 2004, and they were shortlisted for the sustainability report. And last year they won the SEUK social impact report. Using this comprehensive report, FRC has recently won 6 national contracts where they've competed with private sector businesses and have a contract for the next 6 years. So the power of that document is palpable. So the next one is Sure Start Alongside Children's Centre. It's managed by an organisation called the Big Life Company, another social enterprise in the UK in the Manchester area. It runs enterprises across the Northwest. It was graded outstanding by Ofsted, and Ofsted is the official body in the UK that inspects schools, nurseries and colleges. And they can close you down if you're put into special measures or you don't meet the quality standards. But as I said, the Children's Centre measures the impact. For example, the way it meets the needs of a very diverse community. It assesses the needs of the community in its delivery and produces an annual social impact report so it can demonstrate its achievement. It also provides a range of services, so it's well tuned to what the community wants and needs and ensures all the groups and users are catered for. So again, the opportunities that gives you when you're going for contracts. Salford Health and Community Matters, they run Salford Homeless Project. This organisation delivers a range of medical services and ongoing medical care to those who are homeless. It not only supports their medical care, but it also refers the clients for drug and alcohol counselling. It does art on prescription, housing support and advice. The impact report enables them to be a main provider for the national health and community health services as they measure the reach and the impact of their programs. It's also what they've been able to demonstrate, that they are far more competitive as opposed to the large bureaucracy of the national health in undertaking this work. And then there's us, Social Enterprise UK, and this is our report that's in customs at the moment, and hopefully you will be able to get one. So this is our social impact report, and quite frankly, why do we need an impact report? Well, firstly, we have an obligation to our membership who pay to be part of SEUK. And we want to demonstrate that our value of our members, because we have one of our key outputs is members, having members, our values as members at the heart of all that we do, is demonstrated in this report. We also, in our report, want to look to the future, laying down foundations for tracking our future strategy. And we want to explore, as we go forward, how can we combine our entrepreneurial spirit with the highest levels of customer service and quality. And we want to be the authentic voice of our members. We also want to ensure that we can prove our work to other partners and supporters and to government, demonstrating our credentials as the voice of social enterprises across the UK. So what did we achieve this year in our social impact report? And you can have a better read, but what were the highlights? Well, we created a social database of over 10,000 social enterprises to enable procurement professionals to buy a social supply chain in their business. We spent more than a third of our non-salary purchasing with social enterprise suppliers, our commitment and lead in buying social, as we've heard so much today. We've increased the number of media articles. We generated almost a quarter in many of our national newspapers, highlighting the work of social enterprises. We held events and over 1,000 delegates attended. And we with partners set up the Social Economy Alliance to work together to ensure at the up-and-coming elections in May that we would have a cross-sectorial campaign and that we could influence the major political parties. We generated 233 entries to our Social Enterprise Awards, and we achieved 40% of our membership are extremely happy to recommend Social Enterprise UK as membership to another social enterprise. And we made a profit of 9% on our earned income from the previous year. So they were our outputs. I just want to go back to Blackburn House. We again, like other organisations, are based on our Ofsted inspections, and we've been able to get a national, being inspected by Ofsted, we got outstanding for the work that we do. But every year we do a self-assessment report, and as part of that, we do surveys with our students. We want to hear what the students have got to say about their experience with us. What impact have we had on their lives? And we've been able to demonstrate that we can take this information and embed it into future programs that we do. But one of the great things that happens with Ofsted is that when they inspected us this time round, they took 3 of our areas and they became national exemplars. And it's because we were able to prove what we were doing that we got these 3 national exemplars, one in construction, one in leadership and management, and one in health and well-being. And so now we're working with, they've given us we're working with other colleges to put them on the right road. But in the UK, what we found is that every pound that is invested in women's services over 5 years will generate between £5 and £11 worth of social value generated for the women, their families, and their state. We've also been working with Liverpool City Council. I chaired a fairness commission, and Liverpool City Council has really embedded social value into the heart of their procurement. And the mayor asked me to set up a task group, and again, there's a report here. And this group was not just made up of the City Council, but made up of businesses and others, the social enterprise sector, the public sector, other commissioners from health. And we worked together to put a tool in place, to put a common framework in place and a tool for measuring. As we want to be fair and equitable, we want Liverpool to be one of the fairest places that there is in the country. And this now has been, it's been endorsed by the city. The head of procurement in Liverpool City now has a board of other commissioners, and so all the contracts that go up for commissioning now have social value and environmental value attached to them. I'm getting signs on my thing, so I'm whipping through these things quite quickly now. And so we also demonstrated to our mayor how he could use social value himself as part of his ongoing programme. Our mayor has a set of priorities that he's told the city he's going to develop and do for the city. And one of those priorities is to build new schools. So what we were able to do in this matrix for him was to say, if you do the 12 new schools, that's great. But if you can do the social outcome, which is to give local children and young people the best start in life, if you can demonstrate the economic value, creating opportunity for local businesses, local jobs and apprenticeship, and the environmental value of sourcing local products and recycled content, building environmentally efficient buildings, this will really map you against other cities in the UK. So each year now, we are looking at, in Liverpool, of doing a comprehensive social impact report for the city on how the money by the city is invested in our communities and the social impact that brings. But it's not only us that it's not only the social enterprise sector that is actually doing this. What we found is that the private sector have looked at this model and they are developing their own social impact assessments. So what they recognize is that this is competitive. It will give them that competitive edge when they're absolutely going for new contracts. And it's more than CSR, more than corporate social responsibility, because that has limitations. So they followed the lead from our sector. So PricewaterhouseCoopers have made a seismic change how they do business. They want to be ahead of the pack, and therefore have encompassed the social and environmental impact assessment as a key to their competitiveness as a worldwide organization. In their London headquarters, they have put in place, they've got these fantastic headquarters by London Bridge. And one of the environmental things they've done is that they've run their heating and air conditioning system is run on reused oil. They go and collect it daily to run their systems. But alongside their investment in their headquarters, they invested in a building just in front of them. It was an old fire station. And what they've made it into, and Peter might laugh at this one, is into affordable accommodation for organisations like SE UK and the National School for Social Entrepreneurs. But within that building, they also have their own social impact centre to measure the impact of all the things they undertake. And Lang O'Rourke, a major construction company in the UK, and they're striving to demonstrate their social impact. And on all their contracts, they have apprenticeships from the local community. And they work with social enterprises to get us into the supply chain. And they were part of the task force that I spoke about before. And Peter mentioned yesterday Waits Construction, another large construction company that ensure that social enterprises are part of their supply chain. And again, we at BH, we've been working with Waits, demonstrating the social impact we can have in going for contracts together. So measuring your impact demonstrates your credentials as a social enterprise. You can prove to the communities you serve what you're delivering impacts on them. It can be a tool to help you gain contracts. It verifies your mission, your values, your objectives and your activities. And working with your stakeholders as part of the assessment, as we do with our students at Blackburn House, can make really great, can give you great results. It demonstrates that you can look at the multiplier effect, that you may not be the cheapest supplier, but how much more value for the money contractors can achieve and they make savings in the long run. You can use different models to produce your social impact, from a report to a film or both. Whatever way you choose, impact reporting is a powerful tool. But as Peter said this morning, it is about telling a story, and what I said before. It's telling a really good story. And we've won many contracts, my organisation, been telling that story of the impact that this has had on the lives of our women. And so I hope that that gives you a bit of a flavour of what we're trying to do, because I know my time is up. But I ask you, there's some organisation in here I haven't looked at, and there's Hackney Community Transport besides the furniture resource. go on the website and download their impact reports, because they have so much information in them that can really be helpful. And I know that I've met some people in the room today who are really, really curious about finding out more about this so they can help and support others in the social enterprise sector to measure their social impact. It's a powerful tool. It's powerful for you when you go to your government or to your different organizations here when you're looking for contracts. So I hope you're able to use this to benefit your organization and the social enterprise movement here in Jamaica. Thank you.